Good evening, everyone. This is Paul Henderson, president of Pro Travel Network, and tonight is day 3 of our travel training boot camp. I want to welcome all of you to the call, and definitely I do appreciate all of you getting on the call this evening. It's always interesting to note as we go through these boot camps and as we provide lots of training and really what I would refer to as hardcore belly-to-belly basics that really help propel your business to the next level. As each day goes on, unfortunately, there are less and less people on each call. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the call is definitely packed. But from Monday night to Tuesday night to Wednesday night, you have fewer and fewer people that get on the call. And I know what that is. It's simply because people say they want something, but do they really want it? We talked about that on day 1. We talked about business ownership. We talked about getting involved, setting certain goals, and then going after those goals. So many people get started in their own business, and it just sounds like a good idea. It sounds like something that might be fun to do, but when they're actually faced with making some changes and making some sacrifices to go get that success, all of a sudden things change. And that's why in this world, unfortunately, there are always going to be a very, very small percentage of people who actually attain success. Now, success is different for every person. Success doesn't mean the same thing to every person, but whatever success people are looking for, very, very few are ever going to hit it simply because they don't want to put forth the time or the effort to go get that training. Now, granted, depending on where you are, it could be 9 o'clock. It could also be 6 o'clock. Here on the West Coast, people are just getting off work, so you might have had to rush home from work to get on this call. On the East Coast, your excuse might be, well, it's kind of late. It's 9 o'clock, and I want to get to bed and got a long day tomorrow. But people who are really looking for success, they make those sacrifices. I'm always interested in reading about great athletes and great people who have done great things in this world. Athletes are pretty simple because, they just have a certain thing to do and they just go out and do it. But can you imagine how many balls Tiger Woods hits early in the morning before people wake up? How many weekends he spent on the golf course all by himself hitting balls? How many shots did Michael Jordan take in practice all by himself, whether he's at home or in the gym or wherever? How many hours in the gym? It takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of dedication, a lot of training, and really the ability to know that you've got a long-term goal and be able to stick with that day after day to have success. So, yes, I'm excited. We've got lots of people on the call tonight. I'm not saying that we don't, but it definitely has dropped off since Monday, and of course since last week when we did some of the other calls. And it just, again, it's always interesting to me as I look down on the organization. I'm kind of in an enviable position where I can see the good and the bad. I can see those that get started and book tons of travel right off the bat, and I can also see those who get started and can't even seem to get in their website, and the next day they feel like they can't do this because well, whatever the reason is. There's always an excuse when people can't achieve success. But we have taken the time to offer these calls. I'm making the sacrifice. I have just the same amount of things to do as anybody else. I've got all my kids here at the house who want my attention. I've got dinner to cook. I haven't watched the news. The kitchen needs cleaning. I've still got all the things I need to do. Coming home from work, I still have all that. Yet I'm taking the time to do this too. So it's a team effort. And if you're on this call tonight, feel free to let people know that what I said tonight, get on the next calls. If you want to get better at your craft, if you want to learn how to book more, make more, and be successful at it, then you've got to take the training. You've got to take it serious, and you've got to develop a mindset of really loving it. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's training. This is Booking Air. Now, even though I talked for a few minutes about mindset and business ownership, believe it or not, that is already included in the Booking Air training. So everything I've talked about thus far is and has much to do with Booking Air. Booking airfare is how most people gauge the travel industry. When people come into Pro Travel Network, even you on this call, until you begin to understand how the industry works, everybody judges the success or failure of their business, unfortunately, based on airfare. So what I want to do is I want to give you some history on airfare and how it works within the travel industry and where we are today. First of all, many, many years ago, when I say many, we're talking about 20 up to 30 years ago and longer, the typical travel agency earned about 70% of all of their revenue booking airfare. The airlines paid commissions. You could book with United, you could book with American, you could book with Delta, you could book with, all the major airlines, Air Canada, didn't matter, and they were going to pay you a nice commission. Well, as we've come to know, the airlines typically are always in debt. They can't seem to make a profit from, one quarter to the next. They figured out that, hey, one of the ways that we can save money is let's cut back on paying commissions to travel agents. We figure, hey, people are going to fly anyway. Why do we have to pay the agents? Either way, the people are going to fly. No use of us giving away money. And so what they began to do is they began to cut the commissions to travel agents. As they did that, many travel agencies went out of business. In fact, a lot of them. Because you can imagine if your business model was set up so that 70% of all the money you took in was based on airfare, and all of a sudden the commissions were cut dramatically, it's hard to stay in business. Not long after that, they decided to cut commissions completely. And now today, virtually no airlines pay any commission whatsoever to travel agents in North America. And it's a shame. And it's something that we've had to come to grips with. When Pro Travel Network got started in 2003, this was not long after 9/11. So you're looking at the fact that the airlines stopped paying commissions. Right behind that, you got 9/11 when they thought the whole world was going under and nobody would ever travel again. Travel agencies went out of business by the thousands simply because their entire business was based on airfare. Those that survived learned how to survive on leisure travel. Those are the other aspects of travel: hotel bookings, car rentals, vacation packages, cruises. They got very, very good at selling those things, and guess what? Those things actually have higher commission percentages anyway. And so while a lot of agencies went out of business, those that survived became very, very good at actually selling leisure travel. Let's bring it up to today. Well, today, over the last few years, there's been a new wave of opportunity when it comes to booking air. We've got companies such as Fairbuzz and Vayama and several others that now allow you to earn commission booking airfare once again. However, the commission is not paid by the airline. It's based on the fact that you are going to add a service fee to any fare that you pick out. So what you're able to do is you're able to go to a particular website that's a supplier, and what they do is they do something called screen scraping. You can write that word down. That might be in the test. Screen scraping. Screen scraping is simply a software program that goes out and pulls lots of different websites that have airfare. It could be the supplier's own websites. It could be Travelocity, Orbitz, Expedia. It doesn't matter. They just pull all the best fares and they put them on a screen for you to look at. You can now book that fare, add whatever commission or service fee to that fare, and book it all at one time. And what happens is there's two processes that happen after that. They then book that flight through whoever they're going to book it through. Could actually be through UnitedAirlines.com. And then they're also going to process the commission that you earn for that booking. And so today, for the first time in many, 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 many years, travel agents can now book and earn commission on airfare. So it's really a tremendous blessing. And the neat thing is, for the first time, you can make as much as you want. However, you have to start thinking like a business owner to do that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So really, airfare has come a long way. It used to be the backbone of the travel industry. It used to be where we made almost all of our money. Those agencies that survived began to survive on leisure travel. Leisure travel became the backbone. Airfare was just something you did as a courtesy and did not expect to get a commission. In fact, up till just recently, if a client called you and said, they wanted to book airfare, you would have them go to Travelocity and book it because there was no way for you to earn a commission on it. And now today, you are able to actually go back in and then book that airfare and earn a commission. So that's something that's definitely a blessing for us, and you need to look at it that way. You need to look at it as found money. Sometimes the attitude comes across as if, I just can't do this, and I just can't believe I can't make any money on this booking, or I can't believe I can't make any money on air. Guess what? Up until 3 or 4 years ago, no travel agent could. The Pro Travel Network opportunity is incredible that it allows you, a brand new agent with very little training, you haven't gone through any of the hard times in the travel industry, and you can book airfare and literally make as much as you want. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about the two industry giants that really control airfare bookings. And one of those is ARC. The other one is IATA. Now, ARC is the Airlines Reporting Corporation. IATA is the International Airlines Travel Agent Authority or Agent or Travel Authority or Association. And those two organizations represent all of the airlines and their relationship with travel agencies and various other suppliers. They actually represent us. IATA is the large organization that's worldwide that regulates a lot of what travel is. When we are issued an IATA number, and Pro Travel Networks is 295 something, 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 that number is actually recognized throughout the entire travel world. We don't have to call a supplier and actually register with them directly. Most suppliers, the second that we give them that IATA number, they already know it. So these entities have been around a long time. They all stem from the travel industry or the airline industry when it was the backbone of the industry, when travel agents were no longer able to earn commissions. Some other organizations became very prominent, like CLIA, the Cruise Lines International Association. We're not talking about cruises tonight, but those two organizations, ARC and IATA, really control the industry. ARC was the company that if you were booking airfare, you actually had to issue paper tickets. Again, most of us don't do that anymore because of the internet. We can do e-tickets, and so most of those e-tickets are done through suppliers who have an IATA number, such as Pro Travel Network. All right. Let's talk about, just for a second, I want to just go to a quick website I was looking at just a little bit earlier, and that was Wikipedia. And let me see if I can get there. Do I have enough windows open? Let's see. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come back later. I was just going to show you that it's well known in the industry that airlines have basically been, instead of the travel agent's friend for a long time, airlines have really almost been our adversary. They don't really cater to travel agents. They're not willing to pay us commissions. They don't really care whether we book that travel or not. They just as soon customers go directly to their website and they don't have to mess with a travel agent. And that's unfortunate, but it doesn't mean that we can't still make a tremendous amount of money. We have our opportunity. We're going to take full advantage of it, and that's really what Travelocity does. And so what I want to do is for just a couple of minutes is talk to you about Travelocity, Orbitz, and Expedia. I thought I had some windows open. Actually, I did. So let's actually go here to Wikipedia. I did have that open. And I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but I'm just going to scroll down just a little bit. And I'm just going to show you here, this is travel agency. Now, Wikipedia is people can put their own information here. But basically, I'm going to scroll down here and look at where it says commissions, talking about what an agency is. It says in the United States and in Canada, for the most part, most airlines pay no commission at all to travel agencies. In this case, an agency usually adds a service fee to the net price. We're going to talk about retail versus net a little bit later in this call. But I just wanted you to see that this is normal throughout the industry. This is not something that we make up. It's not something that we try to sell you so that you book a certain way. This is the way it is. And so What Travelocity was able to do, and Orbitz and Expedia, is they were able to beat that system. They were able to go out, grab inventory from the airlines, and say, look, you don't have to pay us a commission, but if we book a lot of flights from you, we believe that we can actually add a markup. And so when you go to Travelocity and you put a flight in and you book it, at the end when you actually click submit to pay for that flight, they're going to pop a service fee on you. If it's a domestic flight, it can be anywhere from $5, $7, $10, $15, maybe $20. And if it's international, it's typically anywhere from $20 to $50 to maybe even $100 or more service fee on those types of flights. The airline themselves is not necessarily paying a commission to Travelocity, nor Orbitz nor Expedia. So you really are competing head-to-head with those companies. The main difference is you have the opportunity to learn how to sell. We talked about that on the first two calls. We talked about the sales process. You have the opportunity to spend some time with that client. You have the opportunity to find out and really be able to get in their head to find out what they're willing to pay. And you have the option of making as much as you want on that booking, or really as little as you want, down to the minimum of 10% commission. When a customer goes to Travelocity, there's many times I've gone to Travelocity and when I saw a price, I went, wow, that's cheap. I was actually expecting to pay more. And so I went ahead and booked it at what I thought was a great price. There's been other times when I clicked on there and the price just seemed incredibly high. And I've booked it anyway because I needed the flight. So people book for lots of reasons. And when you have the ability to talk to someone, they have the chance to actually talk to you, find out what you're willing to pay, and then charge you based on that. And that's what we really want to focus on. So what we are at Pro Travel Network and what we offer you and what you have, I want to make sure you understand what you have. You actually have your own Travelocity. You own your own Orbitz. You own your own Expedia. You own it. You didn't have to spend millions of dollars in research. You didn't have to build your own website. You didn't have to invest in infrastructure and software programs and booking paths, and you don't have to get merchant accounts and errors and emissions insurance. All that stuff is covered for you for the small price you paid to get involved in Pro Travel Network, yet you can book anything and everything they can book, and you got a full staff backing you up that will handle all of your back-end resources for what is right around $500. Imagine what Travelocity spent. Imagine what they spend every day, and yet you have the exact same opportunity, and we believe even greater, simply because you can market your business anyway. You can market your business the same way they do. It's really up to you to make that happen. And so what we're talking about when we talk about Travelocity adding service fees, we're talking about a concept, and I want you to write this down. It's called, or we're going to talk about the difference between retail versus net. Retail versus net. Retail versus net. Let me describe to you very quickly what retail means. Retail means that whatever the price that you get from the supplier, whether it's a hotel room, whether it's a cruise, whether it's a flight, doesn't matter what it is, rental car, the commission is built into that price. You don't need to mark it up. In many cases, you can't mark it up. You can't mark it down. That is the price. And then once you sell that to the customer, that supplier will send you a commission check for 10, 15, 20%, whatever the commission structure is with that particular supplier. Booking retail is very, very simple. It's very easy. And booking retail means that you don't have to worry about the competition because they're all going to be quoting the same price. When you book retail, you don't ever have to worry about somebody beating your price because they can't. They're going to be quoted the same price that you're going to get. And when you know that if a customer does give you a different price, something must be different in the itinerary or some information that they gave. But based on the same itinerary with the same supplier, when you're booking retail, you're always going to have the same price. I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to talk about the only supplier that we have at Pro Travel Network that actually will allow you to book retail. Now, there used to be several. Spirit Airlines used to offer commission. AirTran used to offer commission, but even those have gone away, and they no longer offer commission to travel agencies. So the only one that's really left is WestJet. And we're going to go to WestJet right now, and we're going to take a look at booking retail. WestJet is an amazing company. We actually invited them out. They actually visited us in Jamaica a few weeks back to do some travel training with us. You simply go to your back office. Here's the WestJet icon. Also, I'm sorry, in Canada, Porter Airlines also pays commission. Porter flies from downtown Toronto to various destinations, more of a business airline, but they have incredible rates, and they offer 9% commission also. So there's 2 airlines that pay commission in Canada. There are none in the U.S. Basically, WestJet, you click right here. You go ahead and log in. If a customer went to www.westjet.com or westjet.ca in Canada, and they pulled up a flight and got a price and were ready to book it, you can actually book the same exact flight from your agent web link, and it will come up with the exact same pricing. The difference is WestJet will pay you a 9% commission on that booking. So when you're talking to customers, not only can you get them the same competitive rate, but you're going to earn a commission, and they don't have to do the work. You get to provide all the customer service for them and, be their agent of record. I mean, think about that. If you told me that you would book it for me and you guaranteed me the same rate, why wouldn't I let you do it? What do I care if you get the commission? I'm not getting the commission, and half the time I don't know about any commission anyway. So, WestJet provides an incredible opportunity for those in Canada, and of course WestJet does in fact fly into the U.S. And down to the Caribbean also. So even U.S. agents can use WestJet if you just go to the Canadian back office and log in, and you can book with them, or you can book with Porter Airlines. All right, so those are the only 2 airlines that you can book retail, and you will earn 9% commission on whatever the bookings are. Let's talk about quoting the best price. But before we do that, I think I jumped a little ahead of myself. What I want to do is I want to talk about the front end of our website. The front end of your website does, in fact, have a booking engine right here. This booking engine can book virtually anything that you can imagine. Anywhere in the world somebody wants to go, they can book it via this engine. However, this engine, very similar to Travelocity's engine or Orbitz or Expedia, the markup has to be very, very small in order to compete with people who are price shopping. And so generally speaking, remember, if the airline's not paying a commission and you're trying to stay as close as humanly possible to the actual price directly from the airline, you're not going to get much business if the markup is any more than $5 or $10. So just remember, when people go to your website and book travel and you don't actually do it yourself, generally speaking, you're going to get a $5 or $10 commission regardless of the cost of the flight. So imagine somebody going to your website, booking a $1,200 flight, and you get a commission check for $5. You're not going to be too happy about that. But I want to make sure you understand that has nothing to do with pro travel. That is simply the way the industry works, because airlines no longer pay commission. All right, let's move into how do you book airfare then. That's really what this call is all about. How do you book airfare? Paul, how do I make money booking airfare? I've got my website, that's great, but I want to know how to book airfare. I see these emails coming across where agents are making 26% commission booking air. Some agents are making 50% commissions booking air, but I'm struggling because I can't seem to make any commission booking air. In fact, every time I pull something, it seems like I can't even make a $5 commission and still make my deal. Well, 2 things. Number one, you need to go back and take Monday night's call again. Hopefully we're going to get that recorded and have that up sometime next week. You need to learn how to do the steps 1 through 7, and that's where you actually build a rapport. You build value in you build value in your company, and you build value in your product and the services that you're going to provide, so that when you're ready to quote your price, you've developed a relationship with that customer, and when you quote that customer a price, he's buying you. He's no longer, bouncing from website to website to find the best deal. That's a price shopper. That's not a customer. To be successful in this business, you want customers. Customers come back to you because of your service, because they like you, they like the way you sound, they believe you care about them, they believe you're going to be there for them, not because, your price is $3 less than Travelocity, and if it isn't, they're not going to book from you anymore. That's not what we're looking for. So let's talk about how to always quote the best price. To do that, what I want to do is we're going to log into the back office. Now we're logging into the agents only back office. This is going to be the ITA back office. And what we're going to do is we're going to go right to Booking Air. We're going to click on Domestic. And we're going to choose one of the providers here. All right? For argument's sake, we're just going to go to FairBuzz. We could go to Vayama. We could go to 1 Minute Booking. 1 Minute Booking might have prices a little bit cheaper than FairBuzz sometimes, and FairBuzz is going to have it a little bit cheaper sometimes. Vayama might have it a little bit cheaper sometimes, and sometimes 1 Minute Booking will have a little bit cheaper, or FairBuzz. It doesn't matter. That's just the nature of, the industry and how they buy airfare. If every time somebody books airfare, they search Travelocity, Orbitz, Expedia, Cheapo, and every website known to man, that gets old very, very quickly. So just know that all these sites are very competitive. They're all going to get you a great deal. Your job is to book the travel, not so much worry about the difference in price. Sure, you can do that, but I'm going to tell you the right time to do that. What you want to do first is you want to go through those steps we talked about on Monday, the sales process. You want to get to know your customer. You want to find out where they're going, why they're going. You want to talk about their trip like you have some interest and it sounds like exciting to you, or you wish you could go, or you've been there before. Create some conversation. Find out if they've ever been there before. Which airline did they fly on last time? This is just a way to create conversation and try to get an idea of where your customer's at when it comes to price. How does he normally buy his tickets? Most of the times, we get ourselves caught off guard because we're just not asking the right questions. You don't have to ask a customer, how much he paid the last time or how much he wants to pay this time, or, none of that stuff. Just ask him, so do you go to L.A. a lot? Yeah, I go to L.A. a lot, for my business. Really? Okay. Do you normally book it yourself or do you use a travel agent? Well, I always use a travel agent. Okay. Well, now you have somebody that isn't shopping on the internet. Or, well, usually I book on Travelocity and I book last minute. Well, here's a guy who's probably used to paying lots of money for his tickets. But you've got to ask these kinds of questions and kind of get off the subject of the actual booking for a minute and develop a rapport, talk to the customer, find out more about him in that qualification step. And again, if you didn't get those steps, you need to take the sales and marketing training. And again, that should be up again on next week. All right, so let's go ahead and go to FairBuzz, and let's just pretend we're going to book a flight for someone. We're going to book a flight for someone, and let's say they want to go to LAX to Miami. Let's just try that first. What I want to do, though, is I actually want to do some comparisons. Now, I'm only doing these comparisons so I can do some training with you. I'm really not concerned, nor do I care what the prices are here, because I'm not interested in making $5 or $10 on this booking, and pretty much that will always be the price difference, higher or lower, with any of these providers. So I'm just going to do this just to do some training with you so that you see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's talk about LAX to Miami. And let's keep it simple. Let's just leave on the 18th, coming back on the 25th, and let's just go ahead and search. Looks like I've got Sidestep working there. Let's go to let's go here. Let's go to MIA. Okay, let's do the same dates. Where am I? 218. Okay, it's already in there. All right. So let's click search. So we're going to look at Travelocity. And we're also going to look at FairBuzz, our provider in our back office. So here's Travelocity. It's already come up with prices as low as $268 plus tax. which actually equals $296, if you can see that on the screen there, all the way up to $383 with a total of $420. So those are your prices through Travelocity. Okay, looks like there may be some sale going on, and all the various airlines are kind of matching each other's deal, to a certain extent. Now let's flip back over, and let's look at what Fairbuzz has. Fairbuzz has $244, and so basically the same type of deal. We're not going to look at all the itineraries because they're all pretty much the same. I'm going to click Book Now, just so I can get a total of tax and license. And here's the itinerary at the top. I'm going to scroll down, and so with tax and license, you're looking at $317.40. Let's flip over to Travelocity with tax and license. Here you're looking at $296 with American, $314 through U.S. Airways. Fairbuzz with U.S. Airways is $317. So you're looking at a difference of $3. The American flight is maybe a difference of another $14 or so. Northwest starts to go up a little bit, Delta, United, and it just kind of goes up from there. So really the price difference is very, very nominal. And so it's very, very close. Again, the difference is, though, that with Fairbuzz, you simply go in, you put in the customer's first name here, you put the customer's last name, and you go ahead and you book that flight for them, and you add your commission in right here, whatever you want your commission to be. We're going to come back and talk about that later. I just wanted to kind of run through one of them as far as comparison with you up front. Now let's run another one. This time let's go from Toronto, and let's go to one of my favorites. Let's go to Manila. Let's leave the dates the same. We click Go there. That's searching. We're going to go to Travelocity. We're going to change the search, and we're going to go from YYZ, Toronto, to Manila, and we're going to go search. All right, Fairbuzz is already back, and we've got flights from $1,150 for one stop. We've got them as low as $762 plus fees for two stops, and then we have them all the way up to $49.74 and higher with Fairbuzz. Okay, with Travelocity, basically the same thing. You've got Korean Air for $12.81. And let's just take this first one here because I believe that's that's two stops. So for $12.81, you got a two-stop flight. A two-stop flight here, we've actually got $762, but let's just take this one. Actually, this is two stops also. Let's click here. And you've got $11.86 with taxes and everything. So at Travelocity, you've got $12.81. With Fairbuzz, $11.86. So in this case, we're actually $100 cheaper than Travelocity. But again, that doesn't mean anything because I'm not interested in making $100. I want to make more than $100. If I'm going to book a $1,300 flight, I want to make a couple $100 on that flight or more. I'd like to make $300 or $400 on that flight if I can. So how do you actually book travel? Here's why we're doing this little, going down this avenue here with looking at the different websites. Because what I want you to look at is on the end here, we've got Korean Air with a couple flights at $12.81 per person. All the way up to $13.63, $14.98, $15.10. Now here's the national airline. Philippine Airlines is $1,600. That's almost $400, almost $400 more than the lowest price. You got Emirates, you got Singapore. Here's Air Canada, another $500 more than that. So we're looking at almost $1,000 more than the cheapest flight. You got Avia, you got Delta, U.S. Airways, you got China Airlines, and it just keeps going up, all the way up to $10,000 to fly from Toronto to Manila. So how do you quote the best price? What is the best price? Well, I want everybody to write this down. The best price is whatever price the customer agrees to. The best price is whatever price the customer agrees to. That's very, very important because most people, when they get into the business, they think the best price is the lowest price. That is absolutely 100% not true. Because I want you to understand something. When you start in business, you have to figure out what the best price is, not just for the customer, but for you. See, when you get in business, every time you make a booking, it's got to be a win-win. You've got to make money. The customer has to get a good deal so that when you're done, you both feel good about the transaction. Air France doesn't feel like their services are worth any less on this particular flight than $10,986. Is their plane any different? I don't think so. I don't think so. So what's the difference between these flights? Why does Northwest think they can get $1,500 instead of $1,281? Because they can. How can Air Canada get $2,200? That's almost $900 more. You know why? Because they can. Okay? Because they can and they ask for it. They spend millions of dollars to come up with these grids, to price their flights to get the maximum value and the maximum passenger occupancy on every single flight. And guess what? You can do the same thing. Nobody said that you had to quote the lowest price. I want you to look at this for a second. How many people do you think are traveling to the Philippines on these dates? Well, obviously there's a lot because they wouldn't have this many flights. You got 2, there's another 4 flights, that's 6, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30. There's at least 35 flights. There's probably more, but there's at least 35 flights that we can choose from right now to get from Toronto to the Philippines. Which one is your customer going to choose? Well, guess what? They're going to choose the one you sell them. If you quote them $1,200, that's what they're going to pay. What you need to do when you're booking airfare, you need to understand that if Philippine Airlines can ask for $1,600 for that itinerary, so can you. If Northwest Airlines can ask for $1,500, so can you. If United can ask for $1,498, so can you. When you really get strong, if Delta Airlines can ask for $3,000, so can you. If U.S. Airways can ask for $3,800, so can you. Why do you have this mentality that $3,800 is too high? It's not too high. It's only too high if your customer says no. If your customer says, yes, I'll take it, it's the best price. It's right on. And guess what? You don't have to feel bad because guess how many customers are paying even more than that? Look at this. So here's how I book travel. Here's how I'm teaching you how to book travel. When somebody wants to book travel, what you should do is go to your website. Doesn't matter whether you go to Travelocity, your website, it doesn't make any difference, and just do a quick search. Just like this. Don't spend a whole lot of time. Just do a quick search and go take the lowest up to the highest, throw them both out. Forget you even saw them and quote them somewhere in the middle. Whatever you feel comfortable with. The more experience you get, the more bookings you get under your belt, the more you're going to start quoting. Like I said, we have agents that quote 50% commission. That means on a flight like this, they would quote at least $1,800. And guess what? Many times their customers say, let's do it. And also I need my wife is going and my 2 kids are going with me. Guess what? You just made yourself $2,400 in your pocket. You can do it each and every time. So what I do is I simply look at it and I say something like, well, you know what? I did some research. And the average price on that day, it looks like it's going to be right just under $3,000. How does that sound? A lot of times customers say, well, that's great. Let's do it. Sometimes they'll say, well, you know what? I wasn't really looking to spend that high. I thought I saw where, there were some deals out there for about $2,500. Well, you know what? Hold on. Maybe let me take one more look. Maybe there's another place I could take a look, see if I can maybe shave some off of that. If I could get that price to you for about $2,500, are you ready to book it? Yeah, if you can get me around $2,500 per person, I'll take it. Okay, great. I did find a flight, and we can get you that rate. It's available right now. Let's go ahead and book it. Now you've gone ahead and you found that flight. You've now committed your customer to whatever that price is. Let's say that price is, $2,400 or $2,200. Once you've gotten that done, then is the time that you actually do some work. See, I don't do any work until I know I've got a customer that's ready to fly with me. Once I know he's ready to book with me, that's when I do my work. And so my work isn't trying to find the best deal for the customer up front. When I'm looking for the best deal, I'm looking for the best deal for me. See, my sale happens between me and the customer. It has nothing to do with the prices or the airline or where I find it. I hope you all understand what I'm saying, because once the customer commits to me at $3,000 or $2,500, that's when I'm going to go to my back office. That's when I'm going to click on FareBuzz. That's when I'm going to go in and put in that YYZ to Manila, and I'm going to click on it. And that's when I'm going to find out what the best deals are for me. The lower the price I find, the more commission I make, because the customer's already committed to that $2,500. Now, it might be $1,500, it might be $600, it doesn't matter what the price is, but now I'm searching for the best price for me, not the customer. We've already made an agreement. All right? So basically, I come back here, I find the flight, I pick the one that I want, and for argument's sake, let's just say I pick this one. Let's say I pick this one right here. 2 stops. Let's say I found the flight for $762 plus fees. I can simply click on that flight. The price on that flight actually comes out to $1,200. So they've got a lot of fees on that particular flight because I think it goes through Japan. So ultimately, it still comes out to about the same. So let's just go back, and let's just take the first one. Toronto to New York, Hong Kong, and then the Philippines. So I go down. It comes up to $1,186 total before I add any commissions. Let's flip over to Travelocity again. Travelocity was $1,281. So already I've made $100 just because my flight is cheaper than Travelocity's. But again, I'm not looking to make $100. I could care less whether my price is actually cheaper than Travelocity's or not. That's great for me because I make an extra $100. It has nothing to do with the customer. Even if the price was the same, I'm still going to make my commission on the customer. If I find an even better deal, again, that's money in my pocket. So my customer agreed to pay $2,200. So I'm going to go ahead and add $1,000 in the commission box. And I'm going to book this ticket. All right. So I'm going to mark it up $500. Maybe I'll mark it up $800. Maybe there's a restriction. Maybe it won't let me mark it up so much. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's just my computer. But say I mark it up $800. So now I mark it up to $1,900. I call the customer back and I say, hey, I got you an even better deal than $2,200, but I just made an $800 commission on a $1,900 ticket. That's a 15. Well, that's almost a. Well, that's a great. That's a great price. That's almost a 50% commission. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. All I have to do is put the customer's first name in here, customer's last name, their frequent flyer number if they have one for that particular airline. I put in their credit card information here. I put in their billing information, their contact information. I put in my agent name, my phone number, my email address. So I get a copy of the confirmation, and I click I agree and book, and that ticket's booked. And I just made myself $900. Just like that. Just like that. That's how you book travel. That's how you make money booking airfare. Now, very quickly, let's just do one more. And let's just change it to, let's just say a North American itinerary. Let's say LAX to say Montreal. Same dates. And let's do the same with our supplier Fairbuzz. LAX. To Montreal. Okay, and let's click go, and let's see what we come up with. Travelocity should be done. So we've got flights anywhere from 370 all the way up to 494. So again, I can pick a price. Like I said, I throw away the lowest price, I throw away the highest price, and I'm going to quote them somewhere anywhere between 393 and 429, and I can even quote more. If I believe my customer's willing to pay more, I can quote more. Just because the airlines are running some kind of sale doesn't mean I have to mark down my services. Again, you can sell it for whatever you want. Here's Fairbuzz. Here's our supplier. Let's just take the first one. Let's see what that comes out to with taxes. Comes up to $373 total, including taxes. All right, so we're approximately $3 higher in this case than the lowest price from Travelocity. Again, big deal. It's $3. I'm not interested in making $3 on my customer anyway, so it's really a moot point. I'm looking to make on this at least a 10% commission, and I would like to get 20 to 30%. So what I like to do is quote the customer maybe $50 to $70 to $100 more than this price. So I'm going to quote the customer, and I'm going to say, you know, I found you a price, and it's right along with, you know, some of the best rates out there. Your price is going to be about $440. And that's right on. That's right here. There's 20 flights with United more than that. Okay? So I feel very, very comfortable offering them, you know, a flight for $440. Now, when they say okay, guess what? I can come in here and I can mark this up $70. So I can make my $70 commission just like that. And then I can go ahead and book it. You see, the key to booking air, again, it's not how many suppliers you have. Because the best deal, the lowest prices has nothing to do with the suppliers. They're all going to have more or less the same pricing. Sometimes we're a few dollars more, sometimes they're a few dollars more. That doesn't matter. What matters is you working with the customer, you fulfilling those steps, you working that customer, developing a relationship. See, customers will always fool you into thinking that the only thing they're concerned with is price. They do that because you haven't earned their business yet. So you don't earn their business with price. You earn their business with relationship, value, service, being friendly, you know, making them believe that you care. That's where you earn their business. And until you do, it is about price. Until you earn my business, just give me the cheapest price. You want to earn their business first and then prove to them that the price that you give them is worth it because it came from you. And that's how you book airfare. It's not hard. You know, if the airlines are willing to charge their customers and get as much as they can, why don't you? You got to ask for it. A lot of pro travel agents, when they first get started, because their fear is so high, they don't even ask for the money. They spend hours researching flights before they ever even quote the customer. That's a mistake. I don't spend more than 2 minutes researching the flight initially before I go back to my customer. I spend all my time talking to my customer long before I ever research anything. See, that's where the sales process comes into play. Not when you're in the back office, not when you're researching on websites. You should only be spending a lot of time doing that when you're ready to close out your deal and you're trying to determine how much money you're going to make, not how much the customer is going to pay. That's working the business backwards, and that's what new people do because they don't have any concept of being in business and understanding the sales process. So in closing, make sure that when you book travel, you are booking it the right way. Make sure when you book airfare that it makes sense. Make sure that it's a win-win. There's enough commission for you so that you can be happy. You can be happy when that customer calls you back and wants you to service that booking. And there's enough commission there so that again, you're happy, the customer's happy. If something goes wrong, if more of your time is needed, you can easily go in and feel good about working with that customer. Also, make sure you put the booking into the back office or the client management system once you've made it. That's right here. Every booking has to go in there. Make sure you always get a credit card authorization form. That is very, very important when you're booking airfare. You always want to get a credit card authorization form. Always remember OPM. OPM, you are using other people's money. And when it comes to booking airfare, if you make a mistake, booking air is non-transferable, non-refundable, and non-cancelable. So make sure that when you're booking airfare, you watch what you're doing. Once you book it, you look at the confirmation. You make sure the customer gets it. You make sure the customer says, yep, this is the right itinerary, because once you make that commission, you don't want to ever have to give it up. All right. My name is Paul Henderson, president of Pro Travel Network. I want to thank you for taking the time to get on tonight's Booking Air call. Thank you very much, everyone, and everyone have a great night. Bye-bye.